another fantastic weekend of Formula One racing here on the EGL Extreme Gaming League. I'm Tipsy Bob, and joining me on the mic is my trusty sidekick and my good friend, Dad Vance. Covering all the action today, we're going to be covering everywhere from Monaco, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, all across the world, all across the country. We have a full grid lined up, some of the best talent around the world. We have plucked them from all corners of the earth to give you some of the greatest racing experience viewing footage you'll ever see in your lifetime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGL. The cars are all lining up on the grid. They're all getting ready. The drivers will be focusing on their first corner. Are they gonna...
Hello and welcome to SLR's Tier 3 Grand Prix at the Hungaroring, and this time we are back with myself, Mr. Adam, and joining me today in the commentary box is Mr. Gerler.
Hello everyone. Hope you have a nice race this afternoon. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are in for a treat, I would say, and we will begin by looking at the driver standings for Tier 3, which we'll get up in just a second while we just sort out this technical difficulty. So there we go. In the driver standings, Motocrosser leads the way on 179 points, with Gross Jeans in third on 138. Motocrosser with a 51-point lead at the 41-point lead at the moment, going into round 13 of this 22 race championship. Keeble Magnussen keeping third spot pretty warm, but the battle bit there is actually pretty close. Futuristic in the McLaren on 78 points, followed by Nabor in the Racing Point on 53, but it is very close across the board. In terms of the constructors, Renault lead the way on 261, Williams on 171, Ferrari on 145, McLaren on 117, and Racing Point on 108. But overall, the standings are actually pretty close together, and it's actually a very close battle, and it's great to see that through the season. But today, we'll see what's on the line at this track, where you have to test the limit of your driving ability with the track being so close together that it has to overtake everyone. But we are underway now for qualifying session number 1 of Tier 3, and to begin this off, we are on board a lap with Futuristic, and let's see what he can do as he takes us around the track. And we are currently in turn 3, and we are coming up to turn 4, so he's doing his first sector now. And well, this is the thing about this track, coming up to the dreaded turn 4, you don't want to really invalidate there, but he's got his car underway now, and he will be the first person to actually settle up. But we'll have a roll through. But Gerler, what's your racing this track in before? What do you know about this track, and what do you feel like this track's going to give to the drivers today?
Well, I think it's a very tough track because there's not a lot of straights, so you have to keep focused throughout, like, every time basically, and so it's very demanding for the drivers. I also know that the best strat should be the medium hard or the hard medium. So we're gonna see, like, the drivers if they choose to go to qualify on softs or on mediums. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's because in these type of qualifying sessions, it's not always about, as you said, the fastest time. As you said, the soft to hard is a viable strategy, as Radio sets a 1:15.2 on the softs, and the Williams actually giving each other a slipstream, and Tide I think he's about to start his lap now, and we'll quickly ride on board with him now and actually try and get a hot lap. So coming up to turn 2, going down to third, he comes up into fourth, takes the curb, coming up to the end of the sector 1. Looks like we've got an Alfa Romeo in the way coming up to turn 4, and he'll have to quickly get out the way, but he goes over the dreaded turn 4, and luckily didn't invalidate there. Comes out into turn 5, approaching the next part of turn 6. Want to get on those curves, but try not to invalidate at the same time, and he avoids doing that. Coming up to turn 7, very much in 4th gear, takes a lot of the curb, gets onto the curb of turn 8. Well, the end of turn 7, he's alright. He comes up to turn 8 now. This is the part where you don't want to invalidate, and he comes up to turn 2. Coming into the final part of the track, wants to gets a bit wide, but gets a very nice line. Coming up to turn 12 now, where you really don't want to lose the end, and it's very easy to lose the back end of this car, and he actually comes into the pit, so he is not completing his lap but gives us a very nice spectacle. But just going back to the strategy, the soft to hard is very viable around this track, but the thing is, can you really make it last? That's a very hard one to call, because as you can see, most of these drivers are actually on the well, a mixture of them are on the mediums, on the soft, so whoever gets the right strategy called out today will be in for that chance of the win. But as you know, we can always have a safety car around this track, because it's kind of like Monaco in a sense, where you can't really overtake, but you've got a lot of opportunities to do so.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of drivers with the medium tires already, but the thing is, so you only get one set of mediums for qualifying, so if you mess that lap up, you might have to go to the softs. So it's tricky. Either you get a good lap on mediums, or you're gonna be forced to go on softs.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And if you do not use your medium tyres, well, the thing is, this is the thing I don't get about this game, because on 2019 you used to be able to select your hards in qualifying, but for this game now you're only allowed to select your mediums, because some people might want to start the race on hards, but now you have to actually do it from P11. But on this track, this is actually where you want to do it from, because it can give you so much of an advantage being on those hard tyres and the mediums, because the softs go off after, I think it's like 6 or 7 laps of this race, and it is not a nice tyre to be on at all. But we can see if any of these guys can actually break into the top 10, because we're looking at a pole time possibly of around if we can get into the mid 113s or a low 113. But I think a few of these tier 3 drivers, as we said, will be going on those medium tyres, so they'll probably be looking into the high 115s or the low or the mid 114s. But we will get that as we continue through the qualifying session. But just like we said, in terms of the championship, Motocross the lead in the Y on 189 points. The thing is about Motocross that he's a very, very consistent driver, and he doesn't really make mistakes at all, and that's why I think he's showing in the lead of the Tier 3 Championship at the moment, but that he can do that. However, Grosjean is a very capable driver and can easily get him, but Grosjean's is he not actually here tonight? No, sorry, I couldn't see if Grosjean was here in the board.
I'm pretty sure he's here. I think he's maybe changed his name. No, or is it not here?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe he's not. Yeah, maybe he's not here.
I don't think he is. I think, God, it's like trying to find a missing driver like 2 minutes before the start of a race. Like, where are they? Like having to do our Nico Hulkenberg at the weekend, but quickly run down the pit lane and find the car like Juan Pablo Montoya. Toya had to do it in Indianapolis in 2003. The confusion over that when he had to jump back in the T car, he didn't know where he had to go. But then after that, he got disqualified after 3 laps for not doing the procedure correctly. But I think he's not here unless we can actually see in chat, which I actually do need to get up because I have not got it up yet because I don't have a third monitor set up. But that is not. There you go.
I'll keep an eye on chat for you.
Oh, thank you, Danny. Grosjean is Matthias, so he is here.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Okay. So, I was actually right. I just didn't know what name he changed it into.
Yeah. Well, we had I think Radio said had a little spin there coming out of turn 5. Luckily, it doesn't look like he's had wing damage, but that's going to hamper his process at the minute. Well, race at the minute.
Kebab just went into a wall and he lost the wheel, so he's forced to retire.
Yeah, he has. Oh, he's come out of turn 6 and okay. He's come out of turn 6 there, and he's just lost it a little, and it's not really what he wanted, but he's kind of going to have a lot of work to do now that he's going to be dropping down, I'll say probably up to about P19, and on a track not to do that. But saying that, Motocross has switched to the soft tyre, so these guys are thinking about alternate strategies right now. And
yeah, maybe he's not happy with his medium run, so he'll have to go on the softs, like I said earlier.
Yeah,
And as you can see, Keyboard is retired. That's because he had a qualifying ban.
yes, and I was going to say, like, Keyboard Magnussen, on a keyboard round this track, I think it's going to be quite hard work because the temperature of the tyres is going to be, like, through the roof. And if you're on a pad and a keyboard, it is completely different to being on a wheel where you can get so much smoother motion. So we'll have to... He'll have his task cut out, but the one thing that's definitely gonna impact the race today is the amount of warnings and penalties the driver's gonna get. But what are you thinking on? Shall we have a little bet of what's gonna be the highest amount of penalties for tonight at this track? Because there is
yeah, it's a track where you usually get quite amount of penalties. So I would maybe bet for like I'd say the highest amount of penalties would be like 6.
Okay, I'm gonna go for that as well. I'm gonna say 18 seconds worth of penalties, and that motocross is going to avoid getting any. And saying that, Motocrosser has just responded to Bjorn's pole lap of 1:14.5 by setting a 0.4, and as you can see, those times are starting to drop as we drop into the final session of qualifying. And saying that, I think that's a Greek name, but sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but he's just set on pole. Is it Daddy Otis? I can't pronounce it. I was going to say...
Daddy Otis. He's a reserve, so... Really well done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's that many Greeks that come into SLR. They've all got tis at the end of their name, but it's like trying to pronounce their names. It's like always the challenge of a commentator to try and do that, and it's like getting Filikotis, Vaginis, something like that. It's like very hard to do it. Like we've got George MS7, who's I haven't actually seen him for a long time. It's great to see him back on track and in racing, because he's been in SLR since season 2, but he had to drop out after a bit due to real life stuff. So it's great to see him back on track, and in general see how he does. And he's actually doing a very admirable job there at the moment with the 1:15.1. But in chat, has anyone got any? Let's see if we can get any race predictions, winners, weather, or anything like that. Actually, that would be good. Can we please have the weather? Because I think we could be in for a shock if it's raining and we don't notice that. But saying that, Ocean Chief, has actually set a 1:14.4, and he's Dragon Yoko, JQR saying Terra P1 and 5 DNFs, and yes, that will be one to go. But Ocean Chief setting a 1:14.4. Very great job from the old man setting that. But saying that, Terra goes in with a 1:39, responds, and is the first driver to break into that.
Really good luck.
Yeah, and Terra obviously not on his wheel at the moment, on his controller, and this track on a controller is not really nice, especially going over turn 5. But we've got Grosjean's now starting his lap, and he could be the one to potentially take the pole away from Terra, but we'll see how he does. He's a 1:15, so he's got to find 1 second at the moment, and he definitely is capable of doing that, and he needs to get some points back to claw down Motocross's lead in the championship. As we go on, he is coming now up to turn 5. Let's see if he can get it over. He doesn't invalidate his lap, thankfully, so he's got a lot to play around with as he comes through now. He almost then stays on the white line, but coming up to turn 6 now, he gets that and actually doesn't invalidate. I thought that was a bit off track, but Codemasters didn't seem to think so. But he is pushing and pushing now, coming out of turn 7 up to turn 8. Will he be about to invalidate? No, he doesn't. Is he going to be up on his time? He's 2 tenths up on his time, so he is not out of it just yet, and he's coming through the final part of this track. Let's see what he can do as he rounds turn 12 to come into turn 13. Will the Ferrari driver be able to improve on his 1:15 and get even higher up the grid? As he comes round turn 13 to release the DRS to come across the line, he goes into P6 with a 1:14.7, so not the improvement that he was probably looking for, but an improvement nonetheless. But at the moment, the only driver on the medium tyres in the top 10 is Crystals. But is that indicating that we could be possibly seeing rain for this race? Because I haven't actually been able to get in chat if we are having rain for this race, or can we have any insider intel on what's going on? Because we seem to have a lot of people going onto the soft tyre to indicate that.
I've seen that Giannis Correa's went off as well in, I think, in the exit of turn 6, like Kebab did. So like a couple of drivers going out at where Matthias is going on now.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky track. Like he has potentially for very big mistakes, and everything could happen, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Anything can happen in this race, and we won't know till we begin it what will actually happen. But we'll get that in just a few moments once qualifying is all wrapped up and everyone are now starting on their final runs. And Bjorn is the first one of the top 5 to get out on track. So
I don't know if you mentioned, but the Hammer now with the 15.0 on mediums, so he goes up to a P8, and he's on pole for the medium guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's in a very nice position if we're not gonna have any rain at the moment. So I think unless he's actually got his, I've just noticed he's got his. I thought he had his Halloween helmet on then, because in the game last year where you could have the Halloween helmet. I thought he had that, but saying that, he's on the pole position of the medium runners, so he will. So as he actually retires from the session, so he thinks he's done a good enough lap to secure that. But George MS crosses the line and is starting his lap. We've got the top 5 all out on there to try and improve their run. So Terra, Ocean Chief, Motocrosser, Bjorn, and Daddy Otis. I'm gonna have to say it like that because I can't pronounce it any other way.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with as well.
What, Daddy Otis?
Yeah, Daddy Otis.
But we will see who will get pole position, even though it's not really. Yay, Miltos 80 at Daddy Otis team only, and we already got the hashtag. If we can get that trending before the end of this race, I'll be very intrigued. But Bjorn, Ocean Chief, and Terra all becoming. But who's actually going to be the first one? As Ocean Chief, Ocean Chief is the first one. Sorry about the confusion. Crosses the line now to begin his lap, and he's giving his teammate a tow. Mossy Gaming as they come to the line. So let's see what the old man can do as he comes up to turn 1 to try and improve on his lap. And can he grab pole position away from Terra? Locks up a bit coming out of turn 1. Now coming down to the first DRS zone into turn 2. Will he be able to get a very nice hookup coming into the 3rd, down into 4th? Can get as much speed coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Now as he rolls up, will he be improving now as he comes up now to the sector 1? He is 1/10 up, so Ocean Chief could be on the potential now to actually leapfrog into the top 3 as he comes round through turn 4. Now we'll have a quick ride on board with the other drivers. Bjorn looks like he's abandoned his lap, so he is out of this. Terra as also Terra's 1/10 down on his lap, so he's not improving. Motocross
We've got Daddy Otis crossing now the line. He was 4,000s down, and he doesn't improve as well.
So there you go, Daddy Otis not improving, but Ocean Chief is 3/10 up, and Ocean Chief could potentially be on for a front row here as he comes round turn 12 to turn 13. Can he knock Daddy Otis off the front row? Can Daddy Otis, like, improving there, bite him as he comes up now? Ocean Chief to the finish line, and he goes second, a little bit slower than Terra, and Terra looks like he could have pole position. Terra has backed out of his lap, but Gross Jeans is also on the lap. But
Motocrosser P3, so he didn't get ahead of Ocean as well.
Yeah, so Ocean Chief going onto the front row, but Terra obviously thinking he's not gonna improve, so backed off that lap. And Motocrosser as well, who we didn't ride on board with, look, getting so close, but there are 1/10 split between the top 3, which is great racing. But it looks like Motocrosser's got a bit of front wing damage, and Futuristic sneaks into P4 there without us noticing, and well, we're gonna have a race on our hands, I would say. But the main thing is the top 10 only The ball is on the medium tyre, so we'll see what the rest of the field do. Sorry, I just had my drink gone down the wrong way. But there you go. Qualifying for Tier 3 at the Hungarian finished and concluded with Terra Incognita getting pole position just from Ocean Chief by 9.5 tenths of a second, motocross of 1 tenth down. But the qualifying order, what has surprised me is the amount of people that have gone on the soft tyre. You don't really get that many people going on the soft tyre at all, and that is actually quite surprising. And well, we'll see how that pays off. If they get an early safety car, then they'll be pretty set. But yeah, from watching qualifying then, what are your thoughts, Girl, before we head into the race, and what do you think we're going to expect to see?
I think it's going to be a really interesting race, mainly because the championship leader Motocrosser is starting from P3, and Terror and Ocean Chief on the first row, so it has a lot of potential, this race.
Yeah, for sure it does. And talking about people on controllers, Furious in the chat there saying the softs will overheat on the controllers, so that's going to be another major talking point. So that's why I'm quite surprised as well we didn't have a few of these guys actually start on the medium tyre and get that advantage. But we could be proved wrong. If there's an early safety car before lap 6 or 7, then the soft runners will have that I completely forgot the word then, which was advantage. They will be looking to implement that through that race. But just waiting in for soft to hard is a good strategy as well. From as Furious, I think Furious is just being pit lane commentator at the moment, and we've got Sonny in chat as well, and we've had it's getting through all the comments as they come in. Like, there's always a brief time when there's barely any, and then there's always a time where they all come in for an influx. But Sonny saying absolutely right, and the ball is done a very fast time for the medium, so we're not getting any rain for this race. And the ball on the medium tyre, which I forgot, he's pointed out, and thank him for that he'll actually did a really fast time on the medium tyres, and that's actually a really good position to be in. So he's got a very good chance to win this race if he can, or get a very decent result if he can just climb a bit further up the board. But we'll see when those mediums kick in, probably 7 laps into this race. But we're already having the predictions on who's gonna be, the amount of DNFs, and that is going to be 2, 4 and 5 from Sonny, who's gone for 2, Flesh Driver's gone for 4, and JQR has gone for 5. And at the end of this, I don't know what the award will be just yet, but we'll have to think of something as we go through. But prediction.
Well, I think I'll go for 5 DNFs as well.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything because I want everyone on the grid to finish. So that's what you always want. Yeah. You want everyone to do. But it's Hungary. But so expect the unexpected. But we've got the drivers now coming around the final turn before the line up to the grid. And we've got, I'm gonna say, it's the whole of the top 10 are on softs, and you've got the rest of the field on a completely different strategy. And Furious, if that does happen, you're gonna have cursed it, because do that. But I can't say anything because my luckies have been very bad lately as well. But either way, let's hope that changes tonight for Ocean Chief, as he actually lines up in a great position and a great chance to get a podium. But the final car of Keeble Magnussen coming up onto the grid as we prepare to watch Tier 3 of SLR in Hungary, as we get 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. Not yet. And away we go! Terra gets off into the lead. Great start from the look of it, but the lights come up. Terra comes across to cover Ocean Chief. Ocean Chief dropping down the order pretty much as Futuristic gets a brilliant start into turn 1. Gets up into P2. Beyond, Ocean Chief going side by side. Looks like everyone's got around. We're having a few going off into the escape road already. The Haas is dropping down the order. Motocrosser down to P6, but everyone looks like they've got around. We're having a Ricardo-esque overtake around the outside from Matthias, Gross Jeans, and everyone getting side by side. De Hammer up into PA on those medium tyres, which is going to be a huge boost for him, but we have got everyone through round turn 6, and looks like everyone's got, and we're having a full wide side by side here in the Haas of Kisarisis and George MS. It looks like Kisarisis has got wing damage, so he's dropping under one of the Red Bulls. Is that Mossy Gaming going wide off from that? I'm not sure.
Bajan is around.
Bajan, oh, where's he gone around? Oh, sorry, the camera angles are absolutely horrible here. But Keeble Magnusson having a fiesta as well. But is that Keeble Magnusson up 10 places on the opening lap? If so, what a start by Keeble Magnusson. Yeah, Keeble Magnusson is up 11 places. That is a real achievement on a keyboard around this track. And yeah, Flesh Driver doing that. But either way, as we end lap 1, Radio's dropping down the order as well, so he's not that. But at the end of lap 1, Terra apparently has a 1 minute and 20-second lead, which I don't think's true, but wishing he was at this point. We have got Terra followed by Daddy Otis, Ocean Chief in P4, Futuristic in P3, Keeble Magnusson and Kerriers going side by side coming out of turn 1. We've got a lot of action on track at the moment as they've come down the DRS zone, but it's not activated yet, and Keeble Magnusson holding on as Kerriers bangs tyres coming out of turn 2, and it looks like No Threats is going to have a look at Keeble Magnusson as well as they go side by side coming out of turn 3 now, coming down to turn 4. Is Keeble Magnusson going to hold it? Yes, he is on these medium tyres, and Kerrius on those soft tyres, and he's going to have his work cut out now as we come round into the next part of the track. And yes, Flesh Drive was right. There was a lot of action.
Yellow flag.
Yes,
Dario spun out of turn 4. He's now making his way back to the grids.
Yeah, he is very... He's got no wing damage from the look of it, but he is coming ground now. That's gonna put him off a lot. And yeah, you are right, I was a bit too fast then on, but hopefully I'll just calm down now after the action on the first few laps. But as we come round the third lap, we have got No Threats and G Couriers coming round now, and we looks like we're going to have Couriers trying to overtake the McLaren of Wimpy as Wimpy comes up to the outside of No Threats, and he's going to take him round the outside. No, he's going to have to go back on the cutback as Wimpy now coming down the main straight, and he's going to have the slipstream. Looks like he has got it as he goes round the outside of No Threats there and gets him, and Wimpy up into P11.
Really well done from Wimpy. The switchback paying off, and he's up into P11.
Yeah, he has had that was a very nice overtake. But saying that, we will get the position change at the start, and the biggest gainer than that obviously is Keyboard Magnusson, who has gained 11 places, and we have had a lot of action, but we will be able to see what is going on now as the field starts to have trains forming. But there we go. The
X Crystals as well is on P7 with medium, so he's in a really good position for the rest of this race.
You are correct, and he is on those medium tyres, and he's gonna have he's off Terra at the minute. He is 7 seconds off Terra, and will he be able to make that up in these gains? But we'll see. But he looks like he's about to have a go on Gross Jeans going into turn 1, having that DRS, and he has not got him yet, but he's going to have a try going around the outside of him coming into turn 2 and down the main straight. He's not going to be able to get him, and he's just holding on. But saying that, looks like Couriers has spun, and he has lost his front wing. That is a weird place to go off unless he's tagged the curb coming out of turn 1. He is going to have a lot of work, and we'll be hoping for that safety car. But speaking of medium runners, Der Hammer is coming on the back of Crystals now. Crystals getting ever closer to Gross Jeans as we go through lap 4 of this 35 lap race, and he is just pushing Gross Jeans at this point. I know he's Matthias in here, but we are starting to see that tyre advantage of the softs and the mediums probably starting to on the start of the swing over point. But we are having a few penalties rolling as well, and that is going to be a very big contributing factor at the end of this race of what it's going to actually turn out to be, as Gross Jeans coming under increased pressure now from Crystals, and Crystals looks like he's about to get that move done into turn 1 as he comes out the final turn now, has that DRS open as he comes down the main straight. Will Grosjean's be able to hold him off? I don't think he will, as he pulls out to the inside, and Crystals moves up into P6 now, and he looks like he's going to have it as Grosjean tries to go back around the outside, but I don't think he is, but he's actually still holding him. Will Grosjean's actually be able to hold on, or has Crystals got him? Crystals gets him round the outside, but I think Grosjean's losing out there on those soft tyres, and he looks like he's going to fall now to Hammer as he comes up to turn 4, and he is going to have to wait a second because he's not going to be able to get him. But we've seen a few people go side by side through there, and I don't think we are going to be short of that this race as we get off through lap 5. And we have got a few gaps and a few battles starting to form with Ocean Chief and Futuristic battling for P3 as Daddy Otis and Terra pull out a little bit of a gap over their trailing team of the trailing 2 in the final podium position. But at the moment, it looks like plain sailing for all of them. But the one thing that's going to be of note is these medium runners, and the fact they are cashing these guys for the final podium spot.
No one in the top 5 has got any penalties yet. Only Motocrosser with 2 warnings, so he'll have to be careful.
Yeah, he'll. The thing is, he's got 30 more. He's got 29 more laps to not get another warning. If he can do that, that will be it. And I was gonna say that goes back off my first bet. The fact Motocrosser is not gonna get any penalties, and he's on the knife edge already. But Keyboard Magnussen and No Threats coming through turn 1. It looks like No Threats has got past Keyboard Magnussen, and he's up into the final points position. And these medium tyre runners starting to see their cars coming up, but the 2 in the prime position at the minute obviously being Crystals and the Hammer, and as Sonny said, lap 6 is too early for pitting, and I believe he is correct there, and we'll see the soft runners probably run for another 3 to 4 laps before we see anyone pitting. But at the moment the tyre wear is probably starting to go away from them, but we won't really be seeing too much in terms of change at the moment. But we'll definitely have the battles, and we'll see who's going to actually take the overcut and the undercut as we start to get into that window of the race. At the top, Terra is starting actually to come under a bit of pressure from Daddy Otis now, and he is coming down the main straight. He's got DRS, but in comparison to the DRS, looks like Daddy Otis is actually starting to use a little bit more of it up as they come down the main straight. He is getting a lot closer to Terra now, as he's 4/10 now, using that DRS to wheel him in. But saying that, as Wimpy goes around the outside of Matthias, and Matthias looks like he's struggling on those soft tyres, and he's falling back from P6 now, and he has lost a lot of ground. But Wimpy seems to be on the run at the minute. Having a talk to Wimpy before they started this race, said he was very confident in his ability to actually get a very good result here, and looks pretty much on for a good top 5 at the minute. He's only 1.8 seconds off Nabor and Crystal, so he is going to have his fanciest chances here, and he's actually, left his seat in tier 2 to come down to tier 3, and he definitely can get, if he can get a good result today, that will do him the world of good, and he looks like at the moment he's on track for that. And we'll be he'll probably be having a few calls from Icewind and Pretorius on his pit stop strategy, but he is definitely in a good place at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely got the skill to do it. He just has to keep consistent and not do too many mistakes.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. We have got the first win pitters in the top 3 as Daddy Otis and Ocean Chief all dive into the pits to try and make that undercut work. So I'll probably expect them to be going onto the hard tires, as interestingly Daddy Otis has gone onto the softs, so he's thinking he can go a bit longer. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, sorry, I've got the hiccups now, and oh god, not really what I wanted.
That's interesting. What Daddy Otis is trying is gonna go for probably soft medium. I don't know, I've never seen anyone do it, so let's see if it can come beneficial for him.
Yeah, as Sonny's just actually said in chat, they was practicing a 2-stop, and it never worked. So it is interesting to see people trying the two-stopper, because I tried that last year and the two-stopper didn't really work. But I don't know why it didn't work, but like you can see, I can't remember who it was. I think it wasn't Michael Schumacher, but the two stoppers seemed to be working pretty well, and it was a good strategy on paper, but in the race it didn't look as a decent strategy. But saying that, Terra and Futuristic both are coming into the pits now, as they are going to be coming out now, looking to see where they come out, as Ocean Chief is coming round the final turn. Was he on the main straight? Yes, he's about to come on the final turn. It looks like Terra is going to come out ahead of Ocean Chief by a considerable distance, to be fair. And Ocean Chief, coming across the start finish line now, has come out pretty close to Futuristic, but he hasn't got the jump on him. But the thing is, Ocean Chief's going to have those warmer tyres, and could he actually put a big round on Futuristic? But he's come out a little bit further behind, but I don't know if that's gonna have any effect at the moment. But what that's done as well is release those medium runners of Wimpy, Crystals and the Hammer, so they'll be looking to get in those laps now before their pit window opens in about 5 to 6 laps.
Daddy Otis, with those soft tires, I think it's really bad for him that he's in a lot of traffic now, and Terror is catching him up fairly quickly as he tries to go around the outside of Kebab. But yeah, he's got 1, 2, 3 cars ahead of him. That it's not gonna make his life easier.
Yeah, then that's the thing about this track. You all end up on. You can end up in traffic, as we're seeing now with Daddy Otis, and if you can't get that clean air, you're going to get a lot more tyre wear. So it's imperative that he has to make move after move, possibly in unorthodox places, as he makes a move on his teammate now for P10. But he needs to get up that much ground. He might really want a safety car, obviously. That would help the two-stop out. Brilliant. But saying that, we have a yellow flag, and is that Curious? And yeah, he is. He's ended up the wrong way out of turn 9. So Curious, turn 10. And we have a yellow flag again. Where's that? So we're having a few yellow flags.
I think that's still for Curious.
Yeah.
He's struggling with no front wing, and those tires will be really hot.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you do not want. For us, oh my god, Mossy Gaming spinning right in front of us, backing into the wall out of turn 6, but it looks like he's able to get going, but he ended up going very backwards there and dropping down the order pretty hefty. But saying that, his teammate on the other hand has actually wheeled in Futuristic, and looks like he will be making a move pretty soon on Futuristic as they come through turn 10 now before going down to the main straight. And Ocean Chief does have the DRS, but Futuristic does have that ERS advantage at the moment, as he now is coming round turn 12, but he's going to just hold it off for a minute. The only thing I can't see is the fuel mixtures, and that would be actually pretty nice to see what everyone's fuel mixtures is, see if they're going on rich or medium, because it's really interesting to see that fact. But Futuristic, as you can see, breaking the DRS slipstream, and he's not going to have him at the minute, but he's going to have him in the minute. But saying that, Daddy Otis, and he's actually making a few bold moves now, coming out of turn 3 with Keyboard Magnussen going side by side going into turn 3, but can't get the move done, and he's going to have to try and get past Keyboard Magnussen, as he's trying so hard, but he's not able to do it at the minute, and he's stood behind him, and that battle could be an interesting one. And as he said, Keyboard Magnussen, he's not the easiest person to pass. Obviously on that keyboard it's very hard, but he is a very skilled and master of the art of overtaking. I've had a few battles with him over the years in tier 2. That makes me sound very old, and but he is holding off Daddy Otis, as Daddy Otis, you can see, trying to peek up the inside into turn 11. He's pushing Keyboard Magnussen along at the minute, trying to go into turn 12, and Keyboard Magnussen locking up and going wide, and it looks like he's had to concede the position there, but he's going to try and stick with him on the inside, and he's not giving this position up, as Daddy Otis trying everything in his power to get ahead of Keyboard Magnussen, as Keyboard Magnussen will have that DRS. So I don't think Daddy Otis is going to be out of the woods just yet, but it looks like he has got him. But in the background, Kebab and XTP and Terra, are going side by side, and Terra making his way through the field on those hard tyres. And Terra obviously is the person who is leading this race up until his pit stop. We'll be looking at this, and the fact that he's in this traffic now is what hit Ocean Chief and Futuristic will have to clear before they come up to Terra. So Terra having a nice little bit of a cushion at the moment in terms of his lead and drivers at the moment, so we'll see how this unfolds. But at the front, the medium runners, Crystals, is starting to pull away from the Hammer and Wimpy. They're all sticking within about 1 second of each other, and they are not saying that Wimpy gets a 3-second time penalty, and that could be pretty huge at the end of the race. But they are starting to make that, they're trying to make those gains on the medium tyre at the moment. They're all pretty close together as they come round the final turn, but they all don't have DRS at the moment, which is going to be a massive factor, but not really too much of concern as Courier sets the fastest lap on his medium tyres at the moment. But we are coming up to the third of this race at the moment, and it's been pretty action-packed as we see now Tide and No Threats, both on 12 lap old medium tyres as well, coming up to turn 2, but No Threats having a look at Tide going down into the first corner, but Tide having a look at No Threats going into turn 1, but having to back off, and he's just having to wait a little bit now as to come through turn 4s to 6, and we are going to see that gap form as we enter lap 13.
Ocean Chief going for a move on Futuristic, and he backs out into turn 4.
Yeah, but saying that, Motocross has caught up to this train as well. And the penalties for the top 3 are rolling in as Nebor picks up 1. But we have a yellow flag, and that looks like Dario, but it looks like it's been cleared. But we are getting a lot of action here in the midfield at the minute as Motocross are looking now at giving Ocean Chief that pressure that Ocean Chief was giving Futuristic a few minutes ago. So the battle for the final podium spot could be heating up, but as we said, those medium to hard guys could have a say in this at the moment. And Crystals, if I'm mistaken, is not on any penalties at the moment. As they come round the final turn, Motocrosser is going to have the DRS, but so does Ocean Chief to Futuristic in front, as Futuristic is actually not getting DRS from Kebab in front at the minute. So Ocean Chief, as you can tell, getting really close to Futuristic but locking up, and that's going to allow Motocrosser a bit more to get into this battle as they come round turn 2. But we are coming into that part, and Motocross are keeping very close to the line coming out of turn 2, but we are going to see now as he comes round the turn 4, but these guys keeping their distance a little bit at the minute and not really risking, but we'll see a bit more of that as we carry on through the field.
Okay, so to give you some info on the penalties, the top 3 right now, Crystals, Hammer and Wimpy, they all got 1 penalty. Meanwhile, Terror and Ocean Chief, Futuristic and Motocrosser, I don't think they have any penalties.
Okay.
They don't have any, yeah.
Yeah, we are gonna see that, I would say.
Oh no, wait, Terror just got a penalty now.
Okay, I was gonna say, we seem to be doing the commentator's curse at the moment, and we are not being able to. We seem to be picking up penalties, but in front I just spotted Wimpy and No Threats. It was that one of the Ferraris was having a battle, but I couldn't see it. It's No Threats and Daddy Otis having a battle, and they are getting a lot closer now. But Daddy Otis, obviously, to make this 2-stop work, he's got to get a bit more of a move on, because as in the last year on the 2-stop, one thing I definitely learned was that you don't really pull the gap out you think you're going to get. As you can see, Terra's only 2 seconds off him, and I don't know if he's been told about the gap, but he's actually getting closed in now by Terra. So those softs obviously not lasting really that much unless Daddy Otis gets a safety car now. He's not really going to be in for much of a chance this race, I'll be honest. But what I think is going to be the main one is the guys on the mediums are definitely going to have a very, very good chance, because they could actually slot in to this battle now as De Hammer pits from 3rd place, so he's the first one to move and change onto these hard tyres. But the gap to Ocean Chief's only 20 seconds, and I'm not sure how much the pit lane is, but they are coming through turn 13 now onto the main straight, and De Hammer's just about to leave the pits, and he's going to be very much in the range of Ocean Chief as these guys cross the line. And Ocean Chief has just got ahead of De Hammer, but look how close he's come out to Motocrosser, and De Hammer's just come out behind. He's actually come out ahead of No Threat. So sorry, I think that's Dario's ghosty car. But look how close De Hammer's come out to Motocrosser, and he's got 6-lap fresher tyres, and he's going to be relishing this opportunity now to get ahead of this train and make up those places, and he's got the massive advantage to do it, and he's going to be looking to do that, and so is Crystals and Wimpy when they pit. And Crystal will need to be closed like 5 seconds, and yes, you are correct, but the minute he is 3 seconds ahead of Wimpy as they come round the final turns now. And is Crystal going to pit? Yes, he is. And will Wimpy follow him? Probably not. Yes, he is. He looked like he was about to carry on, but Dragon, well, Sonny's saying the pit lane's about 20 seconds, and at the moment De Hammer's at 23 seconds off, so these guys could look like they could actually jump Ocean Chief and Futuristic here, but we'll see as they change the tyres now.
Yeah. It's about to get interesting now.
For sure, as we get on board with them, but you are right, it is going to get very interesting to see how these strategies play out. But they're coming up to the finish line, but the thing is, will Nabor actually come out ahead of Wimpy, and Wimpy comes out behind Nabor. And
Crystals P2. Crystals is P2.
Oh, you are right. Crystals is P2. And sorry, I didn't actually see that. And he has come out very close to Terra. So as you see in there, we're gonna have a new battle forming, and Sonny doing manning the chat. Thank you very much for it. Is only 3 seconds between Terra and Crystals, and Dubo, as Gerla said, these guys have only got 3 seconds worth of penalties, so we are going to be in for a very interesting battle, to say the least. So that this is not going to be over yet, as we are on half race distance, and Terra leading from where he started. Crystals up to P2, making that medium strategy work like wonders. Up 9 places, starting from P11, and it does show that is really where you want to be. But we are not over yet, and anything can still happen in this race, and we've got it all to play for. But what we've got at the minute, we've got a massive train behind XTP, and Ocean Chief and Futuristic seem to be stuck in that train, and they are not getting much out of it at the minute, and it is causing one huge DRS train all the way back to Wimpy down the main straight. And Crystals obviously avoided this, and Motocross are making a move into turn 1 out of nowhere, going up the inside of Kebab, and we are going to see that as Couriers pulls over to the side of the track, and the Hammer getting past Kebab as well, and into P6 and P7, so he is getting a lot closer. And the Hammer, obviously on those fresher tyres as we mentioned a few laps back, is going to be the one to try and take advantage of this trailing pack and get it. But we are going to get a few battles all over the place, but unless the person at the moment who's the linchpin to this is XTP.
So, assuming XTXP has to pit, both Terra and Crystals have 1 penalty. Futuristic as well has got 1 penalty, and Ocean Chief only has 2 warnings.
I was gonna.
So, yeah.
I would say the old man at the moment is out of his natural habitat in P5, not in his usual P10. But the thing is, in Tier 3, he seems to have had a very much rich vein of form that's actually took him into lands of where he's never actually been before, and he's actually making up a lot of ground at the moment. And we are going to see as Futuristic tries to get past XTP into turn 1, and he gets that move done. He looks like he's going to put the barrier between him and Ocean Chief now, as Ocean Chief is going to have to overtake XTP as well. And Sonny making a bet, can De Hammer get a podium? I said at the start of the race De Hammer was in a very nice position, and he potentially could, and I am going to say yes, that I think De Hammer will get the podium. But will he? We'll find out in 15 laps time. But with Gerla. Tier 2 racing. So, oh no! No! We are commentator's curse.
I think
it's
that's on
funny.
Sunny. That has to be on Sunny.
Sunny, that's Sunny and me. I am so sorry for the hammer. Oh my god, commentator's curse has just come in, and we are. Oh, he's dropping down and he's got a damage from wing, and I'm really gutted for him. And I'm sorry if that goes into top 5 moments of the week. That the fact we just mentioned something like that happening and then it does, but I'm gonna shut up for the rest of the race on stuff like that and not take bets, because I have the fear this will happen. But getting back to Ocean Chief now, you can see Ocean Chief and Motocrosser's Wimpy almost pulls out of nowhere trying to get a move on Motocrosser, but Motocrosser now looking at Ocean Chief and pulling to the outside, but Motocrosser taking it a little bit conservative. Can he get past? But Sonny, if you want to do that again, is the same fate gonna compel what's happened? I'm not gonna say anything because I'm the commentator's curse. And oh my god, don't say it because Wimpy's just picked up another penalty. Oh my god!
And he's coming for a move on Motocrosser. He backs out.
Yeah, it was literally on the edge of your seat there. Wimpy's gonna have a move into turn 6, and JQR as well, but I'm not sure if it's a curse between me and Sonny or it's just a curse overall. But we do not say anything anymore about people going for podiums, because that's what happened to Nabor. Just don't do it. We'll see at the end of the race. Just don't say they're going to get a podium. Just say where they're going to finish ahead. But either way, they are getting very close. And we'll have a look at a few more battles on track at the moment, because we actually do have No Threats and Tide coming through, because we've kind of just not actually seen that the rest of the battles on the track at the moment, because we've been so engrossed in the battle for P3 at the moment. And
Wimpy almost went on the inside of Motocrosser, but they touched and Wimpy was forced to back out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've just seen he's dropped a bit of time, but sorry to interrupt. We have got No Threats getting tied into turn 2 now, and is Tide going to be able to get him, and he is just going to be able to hold him off. But the minute he's riding up the curb, No Threats is going to go side by side, and I'm not sure what's happened there. I thought they made contact, but they have not. This is the camera angles doing their usual tricks at the moment, but we are gonna see what happens. But speak of the devil, Daddy Otis has actually come out in P7 on the medium tyre. But I suspect, does Daddy Otis have 6 seconds of penalties from what we've been going through? Or is that me being mistaken? Because he could actually be in for a good chance to catch Wimpy here if he does that.
Well, Daddy Otis has got 2 penalties now.
Yeah, and Keeble Magnussen retires. Keeble Magnussen's out. And is that going to bring out a safety car or a virtual safety car? Looks like he's off the track, but that is a blow for Renault and the constructors. And we have a
virtual safety car.
There we go, virtual safety car, the first one in this race. And no one actually is going to be able to take advantage of that, because a few of the guys have pitted like XTP, but Radios taking advantage of this and getting off the hard tyres. So he's obviously thinking that he's not going to be able to take advantage of that, and he is going to dive into the pits. But the first one of this race, and that has actually took a long time to come, as the virtual safety car ends and we are back underway. And going back up to this top, Ocean Chief and Futuristic having a 1 second gap, but Ocean Chief pulling a bit away, well, not pulling a bit closer in, but Motocross are getting very close to Futuristic and this potential podium place. And looks like we are going to have this and get a great battle for the final podium. But Sonny saying Hammer screwing one of his bets. Well, I'll tell you about a story. We was doing a Baku race and was doing commentary for it, and a guy put on a bet for the Red Bulls to get on the podium. 2 seconds later we get a safety car, one of them pits and goes on the intermediate tyres, and then the next lap they get taken out. So, and this is after the commentator did that, because that was me again, so I'm kind of inclined not to do that, and I feel like it's generally might be a curse of mine, but we won't talk about that. Terra and Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. Me being a bit blindsided, but Sonny and JQ are pointing out Terror and Crystals are now, it was 1.2 seconds apart, but that gap's gone down to 2.2.
Yeah, and both Terror and Crystals have one penalty, so it's race on between them two.
Yeah, for sure. We are, unless one of them picks up a penalty, that could definitely swing the outcome of this race into Crystals' favour. But what Crystals has got on his side, obviously, is the fact he has got 7 lap fresher tyres. Then, 8 lap fresher tyres than Terra, and he is going to be trying to get that gap down to get into that DRS zone. But knowing he has got, he does need to make it on track to win, as you are correct. But he is going to be having that advantage as we go into the final 12 laps of this race. But I'm just going to ask a question, Gurla. So we've got Tier 2 tomorrow. And from watching this race, what is your strategy going to be, from the look of it?
Well, I'm definitely going to try to go on mediums. Maybe do a soft run first on qualifying, but not set a good time and then go for the mediums. Yeah. And if that doesn't go, like, if I mess it up, I'll have to go on softs. But looking at this race, the medium hards really looks like the best strategy.
It does for sure, and for me it's going to be pretty interesting because I've got the same as Keyboard Magnus, and I've got a qualifying ban. So looking at this race, I'm definitely considering the medium to hards. But I know having a qualifying ban is not something to be really pleased about. But those medium to hards look like that very optimal strategy to get on here. And if you can make that so, it can work very nicely in your favour. And Sonny and JQR are both asking Gurla, what's your secret to the T2 strategy and the masterclass that we could see from you in Tier 2 tomorrow?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. You're ahead of me in the championship, so you tell me your secrets.
My secrets is try not to crash and actually score some points, like in Austria of throwing away the win in the final turn. But you're a lot more consistent than me at the moment. But we'll see tomorrow at the end of the result. But in terms of this race at the moment, we are going to go back to that battle for P3, and Futuristic is holding up Ocean Chief Motocrosser, and they are getting there, but Wimpy on the back of this train at the minute. And what's Hungary's obviously showing again how hard it is to overtake. But is Wimpy gonna have a go? It looks like he's having a go, trying to have a go at Motocrosser, because you can see he's definitely thinking about it. Like that place, and he has a bit of a moment, loses a bit of time there to Motocrosser.
Yeah, it's gonna be especially hard for Wimpy because he's got 3 penalties now, so his life has become even harder.
Yeah, he has got to actually get past these guys and get the gap. So he's got 3 cars to overtake, and can he do that at the moment? And he's got that ground to make it, but the thing is, he's probably got the gap to Daddy Oti, so Wimpy's definitely assured of a top 6 finish, but he could be on for a podium here, but I don't know at the moment. But going back to the front, Crystals is down that gap to 1 second on Terra, and we could be in for a Grand Slam fight to the finish here. And you know what we're going to see in the end of this race is going to be a very big battle for the major positions. And JQR saying in chat, what's the strategy? Well, the secrets. Well, I don't know, but you're a very fast driver, and you're probably faster than me. So please tell me your secrets. But we want to see what the secret result is going to be at the end of this race, and we are going to see a swing of penalties and action on track as we get down. So let's go and get the final 9 laps underway. But we'll take a look at the battle for P8 and P9 at the minute, because these 2 separate trains have got pretty close, are in pretty close proximity together, and they're not really getting too far away from each other at the moment. So we're seeing as Wimpy picks up another time penalty. As Motocrosser! Oh no, Wimpy and Motocrosser. Oh, that is a huge blow for them, and it looks like Wimpy's not moving. Motocross are having heavy wing damage. I think Motocross is going to try and go on to the end, and I didn't see what happened because of it, and we have a yellow flag, and I think that is to signal Wimpy's end to this race unless he starts moving the moment he does start moving. So Wimpy, I didn't see what happened, and that's really unfortunate for him and the battle for P4 and P5. But saying that, we've got the battle for P3 and P4 pretty much live, but the battle for the lead now coming to life in the last 8 laps, and Crystals is under 8 tenths to Terra, and Terra is now going to have to put all of his experience into defending from Crystals on this track, and the soft to hard strategy versus the medium to hard strategy is coming into full effect now. And Sonny, if you're going to make a bet for Ocean Chief for the podium, that is a very strong possibility, but so let's see what your race winner is. Well, if you want to bet on that.
If Ocean Chief crashes now, it's... I think you'll have to apologize to at least 3 people now.
Yeah, we will have to apologise to 3 people, and yeah, but the one thing I forgot to completely do was we actually did have the we got Ocean Chief actually on it now, and he looks like he's trying to get even closer to them, but you can't actually take your eyes off this battle at the moment. We are pretty close to getting a resolution, but they are not getting backing off. I was going to say I forgot one graphic to put up, but I think we'll have to leave that with the graphic. But Wimpy wheel technical. Oh, so sorry. Why Wimpy's out of the race is because he had a technical issue, so not his fault. From the sound of it, it looks like gremlins have crept into hardware once again, and that's really unfortunate for Wimpy because he was on for a very strong race, and hopefully he doesn't have any more issues in that case. And yeah, very sorry for Wimpy because he was on for a very good result. But on track with these 7 laps ticking down, Terra is having to look in his rearview mirror at Terra, well, Crystals at the minute. I was saying Terra's going to have to look at Terra, but we could see the Terra in Terra's vision at the minute as that Alfa Romeo is getting a lot closer, looking at the back camera coming down into turn 1, and we're just right on board with him. As you can see how close Crystals is getting very close to Terra Incognita now, and he is getting ever closer, but I think he's just going to be able to hold it, and he goes a bit wide and lose it, and we have another yellow flag, and is that Daddy Otis or Kebab? I think that's Kebab, and Kebab spun coming out of turn 12, and that's not what he wanted, but we are going to have to strap in tight up front because we got so much action on all over the track. It is very hard to pick up a job at the minute, but
yeah, Kebab is on the edge of P10. He'll definitely want to get his first points on the championship for tier 3. He just moved from tier 4, so yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually saying that Daddy Otis is actually a tier 4 driver, and his strong performances have actually caught the eye of Mr. Wimpy, and he's given him his chance in the Alpha Tauri, and I was about to say Alfa Romeo, and he's making very much the most of it. And a P6 on his debut is not something to be sad about. And he's done a brilliant job. But saying that, Terra just got on the curb out of turn 13, and Crystals is closer than he ever was before. He's using that DRS, and it looks like he's trying to get Terra, and Terra's getting very out of shape coming out of turn 1, and it looks like Crystals is getting ever so close to him, but Terra locking up like a Victorian steam factory at the minute, while the Industrial Revolution is definitely coming to that Mercedes factory at the moment, and Crystals is trying to get past Terra now as they're coming through turn 4, and Crystals is pushing Terra on. It looks like Terra's got a very much lack of grip at the moment, and he is holding on for dear life as we come through the mid part of this track, and Terra is...
I have some news. So Crystals has got 2 penalties now, while Terra is just on 1.
Oof.
So if he wants to have any chance of winning this, he'll have to get past Terra and break that 3 second mark.
Yeah, he will have to actually get him past it. But is Terra very far off getting another penalty, or was he only on the 3 second and no warnings at the moment? I mean, does Terra have any more warnings to add up to a 6 second time penalty?
Let me just see. I think he has either one or none.
Okay, but so Crystals is definitely going to have to get that 3 second gap, and saying Sonny being correct, the dirty air at the minute is definitely affecting the Mercedes of Crystals at the minute from the Mercedes of Terra, and it's safe to say Terra is the guy at the moment who's definitely got the race in his hand at the moment, and he just needs to stop Crystals from getting past. But Crystals getting so much better traction out of turn 5, and he's not gonna have much of a chance at the moment, and literally Terra's just using his car as a bus at the moment to keep Crystals behind him, and he's doing such a good job of it. And the battles at the top have been fantastic to watch all race. The racecraft of these drivers in Tier 3 have been great to see, and we are been treated to an absolute full of a race as we get to see now battles for actually 3 major positions. P1, P3 and P5 have all got one, but obviously Motocrosser with that wing damage, Daddy Otis actually says, I fancy my chances here, and Motocrosser picks up another time penalty, and I think Motocrosser is gonna be looking at the barrel of a P6 here, so this is game on for all of them. And definitely bots up. We have got a great battle to show you, and let's see what we can do in the final 3 laps. But it looks like Crystals is not really advancing on Terra as much as, you know, we thought he would be, so that's definitely gonna be something to watch. As Motocross,
oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say Motocross has just been overtaken by Daddy Otis. Daddy Otis, actually, that 2-stop seems to have done a bit of good here, and he is up into P5, and again on the debut he's come through the field and definitely deserving, and saying to Wimpy, who's actually just appeared in stream chat, saying, give me a seat in Tier 3, I want to show you what I can do. But that's up to him at the end of the day, and any discussions will probably take place after this race. But saying that, we are getting now, look at this, Terra is actually finally, I think this looks like the closest Crystals has come to Terra, and it looks like now we could see, and oh my god, I've just realised Terra's got the DRS off of the Alfa Romeo of Dario, and he has do that, and Terra goes wide into turn 1, and Crystals tries to get pounced on him, and he's not pounced on him at all, and he's getting so close to
no, Terra wasted all his energy he's been saving, so that he's actually on the same ERS as Crystals, so
yeah, he is. And one thing Crystals is definitely looking at the minute to get through is that he is trying to get through, but he needs to make up that 3 second gap, obviously, and he's got him! Terra gets passed by Crystals in the most unorthodox place out of turn 7, and Crystals with an absolutely brilliant move to move him up into the lead of this race. However, Crystals needs to get that 3 second gap, and I don't think he'll be able to do that. Behind them, from the battle for the final podium position, Ocean Chief is getting futuristic here, and he's getting a lot closer to futuristic as these guys come down turn 11 as Daddy Otis, oh no, as Daddy Otis disconnected, and all that could be an absolute hammer blow, saying that, and oh, he's got 1 lap to go, and that could be huge in the battle for P5, and that is going to be something to watch on. But that's F1 being F1 for you. But futuristic holding on to P3 at the moment, and Ocean Chief advancing really closely to him, but that is going to go down to the final lap as Ocean Chief again gets a lot more on the DRS, and he's got double the amount of the ERS that futuristic has got at the moment, so it'll be an interesting one to watch with these guys in the final battle. But up top, Terra looks like he's just got to hold on and not get another penalty, and this race is his for sure. But the battle for P3 is definitely going down to the wire, and Oh, Crystal's almost losing it then on the curb of turn 8. And he is putting out an 8-10 gap of the minute, almost a second. But as Sonny has just said in chat, Chief needs to strike. He needs to get the cardigan right now to get that position.
Well,
he's got
Chief is still on 2 warnings, so if he doesn't do what he did in 2 SRL Tier 3, when he got a penalty on the last lap, I think he's on for a podium.
I thought he had a penalty. Sorry about that.
No, he's just got 2 warnings.
Oh right, so yeah,
he's on 2 warnings right now.
So Futuristic does not need to get a penalty. So Ocean Chief doesn't have to get that penalty, and it looks like Motocross has overtook Daddy Otis, who's had some issues with the thing, but it actually looks like Daddy Otis got back control of his car, thankfully, and he looks like he's going to try and hunt down P5 again. But Ocean Chief getting really close to the back of Futuristic, and he is getting oh no, Sonny, you Ocean Chief getting very wide out of turn 3 and almost losing it on the curb, as Sonny almost goes, well, Ocean Chief bottle it for the podium, and he almost did in a dramatic fashion. And he will see we having him after the race for that, and I think that would be an absolute moment, and I think a few things will have gone through him then. But in terms of the race victory, no Crystals has done an absolute superb drive and deserves the win of the. Well, he's first on track, but he comes across the line. Terra Incognita will jump Crystals by a second and takes victory in Hungary. The next battle will be for the final podium spot as Futuristic comes up to the line to finish in P3, but he will be not in P3 for much longer as he gets that 3-second time penalty as Ocean Chief jumps Futuristic for P3 and takes the final podium position as Motocrosser lets Daddy Otis through. And Daddy Otis drops down to P6 on penalties as Grosjean jumps up to P6 and drops down to P8 due to penalties. And Daddy Otis, obviously with a lot of penalties, and drops down to P9 and no threats, drops down to P10. And I don't think we're going to see any more changes in the results now, as most of the drivers cross the finish line for the end of this race. And there you go, Hungary Tier 3 SLR. Terra Incognita taking victory. Yeah, that was, and Skirla has summed it up very nicely. What a race we have been treated to, and we will be onto the podium celebrations in a second. And well, I don't know what your thoughts are, but mine definitely are. Is we got an absolute show and a treat of a race, and we can see Terra on the podium with Crystals and Ocean Chief, and all 3 of them deserving, and Terra enjoying that champagne and spraying it all over his race engineer, and truly deserving of this win. So
Adam,
yes,
I have to ask, who do you think has got it for driver of the day?
Driver of the day, right. Who am I going to go for driver of the day? See, usually you wouldn't pick a race winner. Well, sometimes you don't really want to look for the race winner because you want to pick, the person who's like done the most improved or anything like that. But I'm gonna have to give it probably to Crystals or Terra. Terra mainly for picking up little warnings and defending Crystals for the amount of time he did, making the softer hard strategy work a treat. And I would have gone for Crystals, but I'm gonna have to give my driver of the day for Terra for simply making the softer hard work really well. But there's a lot of people who definitely deserve driver of the day, and Tide has got a worthy shout finishing P5 and P16, but I'm going to give Terra driver of the day. And I'm going to throw that question back to you, your driver of the day.
Yeah, well, I think it's really close between Crystals or Terra. I mean, Terra got the pole position and the race win, so perfect afternoon from him. Crystals went for the medium hard strategy, started from P11, so it's a really nice recovery for him as well. Tiled with also really good results starting from P16, so it's really close. Dragon says Terra driver of the day. Sonny says Crystals driver of the day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say crystals, so we are tied. You said Terra, right?
Yeah, I said Terror and I said Crystal as well, but I gave it to Terror in the end because of the thing. But either way,
Well, Wimpy just said Terra, so he untied us. So I think unless anyone else says anything in the chat, I think Terra wins driver of the day.
yeah, for sure. So right, actually saying that, Terror is in the other room, and let's see who we can drag in for the interviews in the second. We've got a selection of drivers to go through, so I'm gonna let you pick who we interview because they are gonna have to see who we can bring into the room
I think,
first.
shall we go for Terra or race win? Or race winner?
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll drag
Let's
him.
bring it.
We'll drag him in. And there he is, the winner of this race, Mr. Terra Incognita. Congratulations! And one thing I would like to say, well done for making that soft to hard strategy on the controller work and battling crystals for so long.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's a weird one because I didn't really do a lot of actual race running before the race, and I sort of took it as read that like I took it sort of as gospel that I could do the soft hard strategy, but I realized then that I was on the controller and that tire wear was going to be an issue. So the first few laps of the hard stint, I took it very, very easy. It was like really, really really conservative, and I was behind cars as well, so I could just time my surge until or wait to push until the last couple of corners, and then I could get past down the straight. So I think that made it a little bit easier. And then the battle with crystals was really intense. I had I think it was 8 laps more on the tires, which I don't know how much that translates to in terms of pace. I don't think it actually translates to a huge amount, but I think he was faster than me. Anyway, if we had the same tires, I think he would have been faster than me. So I was just pushing, making sure I didn't get any more penalties. And really all I was hoping was that he got more penalties than I did, which is what ended up happening. I don't think there was any way to keep him behind for those last few laps. I tried very hard to keep him behind, but then I made a mistake in the chicane, got a bit sideways. He got a run, he sent one down the inside, and I jumped out of the way because I didn't want to crash. So yeah, I mean, well done to him. Really, really good race. Did the medium hard really well. But yeah, I'm exhausted. Wow, that was really intense.
Well, I mean, on a controller around that track is really hard to do because I tried it on my controller the other day, and it is not a nice controller. Like, I'm just going to ask a question tech-wise. What controller do you use? I just want to.
It is a PlayStation 4, like a DualShock controller.
Right, I use that one, and at the moment, are you using like any assists on the controller, or are you?
No, I'm no assists. I don't know about the hidden assists that there are. I think there are some for controllers, but I've not touched any of those settings, so I don't know what they are. But yeah, I mean, in terms of medium traction control or anything like that, I'm not using anything.
Okay, what I'm gonna say is, my experiences on a controller, I can't even use gear shifts, so even better that you've actually done that whole race no assists on a controller, which makes it even better. But again, very well done for getting that win, and you've deserved that. And we will now move on to our next interviewer. Right, actually, I'm gonna say
just before I go, can I say, Crystals, that was a fantastic drive, really well done, and also Ocean Chief on the podium as well. Yeah. Really, really good drive.
I was gonna say, just as you said that, I was gonna say, Crystals, actually, we couldn't decide on driver of the day, but Wimpy split it in the end. But we'll probably have to leave that one to a vote because both of them do that. Right then, because you're the race winner, who would you like us to interview next? Because we've got the
who's in the channel? We got Mr. Chief. I mean, normally we do the front of the grid first, and that often means that Chief comes in at the end. Unfortunately, because he's not usually at the front, but today he finished in third place, so I think he deserves to be interviewed as one of the front runners today.
Right then, let's bring him. Actually, I'm gonna bring him and Futuristic in a second, but we'll grab the old man first. And right then. Are you there? Why is it you're being interrogated here? Firstly, why are you not P10? And secondly, why are you on the podium?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just got my head down and yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like this tier, SLR tier 3, I tend to get like the highest result I got is a P7. So I get really nervous about this tier for some reason because I feel like there's a lot of guys around my level and I can do well, but when it comes to the race, just often happens. It just gets me out of the running. But finally, I made it to the podium. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy.
I was gonna say, making it to the podium in tier 3 is actually a big achievement because like some of these drivers, as I remember watching the tier 2 stream last week. You like as we was, I think it was Bailey was saying the grids in SLR are so competitive and showing that like motocross is a very very fast driver and showing over the season like the improvements of some of the drivers, and I would say definitely over this season in tier 3 you've improved a hell of a lot, and to get that podium just shows the testament that you've come on from all that. And it was great to see the battle you had with Futuristic and Over the World, that you've got that deserved podium in the end. And well, it's been a pleasure to actually see that happen. But any final remarks before we exile you into the other room? Because
yeah, I've you know me, I have plenty to say. Well, I mean, the qualifying, I did first run of mediums, and then I crashed on my second. I was going to do a second run because the first one was pretty poor. I went for a second run and the corner, and just I think it's at the start of sector 3.
yep.
The fast right-hander coming out of the S's where you can pretty much go almost full speed for there. I think I just caught the curb wrong and went into the wall, and it was the kind of impact you wouldn't be surprised if your wheel came off. So I was just glad that I was able to limp back to the pits and put softs on, did another soft run. It was decent. I think it was a 14.4, and then I did another run, and I thought I was going to get a 13 because I did get a 13 in practice, and I think I did a 14 roughly, or 14 flat, which was enough for P2, which was kind of surprising to me because like you say, there's a lot of fast guys in here, especially these qualifying experts. So it tends to be the area where I kind of don't do well, but I don't know. I've just been doing a lot of TT at this track and just trying to like find that extra pace, just carry extra speed in, just be a bit more or a bit less conservative, because usually I would go into a race being conservative, I don't want to crash and stuff, but I guess like you just have to push the limits, and that's what I did today. So in the race I got a really bad start. I think I went down to possibly P5, and then from there it was just really grinding out the lap times. Like whenever I put the hards on, I came out in P15. Oof. And at that point, like I'm sure like everybody, all drivers experience it, where you're on this strategy and you start questioning it. You're going, P15? Is this right? Like, am I gonna? Because like I was P3 and now I'm P15 or P4 or whatever. So I was just like hoping that everybody else is gonna pit. I came across some traffic. This track is notorious for being difficult to pass. XB, fair play to him. He kept me behind him for a few laps, but then he had to pit, and then it was just basically hanging on to the back of Futuristic. And I didn't really know he had a penalty until later on. I kind of had a sneaky suspicion he might have one. So I had 2 warnings at the final stint of the race, and I just avoided those curves. Like I tried to not. I don't know if anyone's watched my race from yesterday, but I got a penalty that cost me a podium at this track on the last lap. So this one I was like, I'm not going to do that. Okay, no, I've done it before. I know what not to do. And then I crossed the line P3. So very very happy about that. Yes, it's a very tough race. So it is 35 laps, especially when you're behind someone. The dirty air and stuff. But I want to dedicate this one to my crew chief, Icewind. Like he's great. He sometimes thinks he doesn't actually help me at all, but he does. Just his presence kind of is very calming for me, and just helps me keep focused.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. yeah, I was set Icewind with a well, he's a very good crew chief, and like the amount of times he's been there for not even yourself, but like a few others like Wimpy and myself. It's great to see that, and yeah, he actually speaking that he just jumped into the chat while he's there.
Fair to Pretorius, who was here actually, and I was not here, so.
But you missed what I said there. I said that just your presence just helps me be calm and focused and stuff. So yeah, credit to Pretorius as well. I couldn't actually hear him in VC, that's why I haven't thanked him, because I don't know what the audio level was in Discord, but yeah, I could just hear him whispering in the background, so I don't even know what the hell he was telling me. But yeah, Icewind, man, you are
No, this is
my
not
crew
about me.
chief, man.
I'm gonna go away now.
Yeah, I dedicate this one to you. That's how it's going. Okay, this one's free, man.
Right then, I will dedicate that as well. Right then, shall we get anyone else for an interview, or shall we? Sure.
Well, we've got Nebard, who was a victim of the commentator's curse. So
I'll drag him in.
I'll catch you guys later. Okay.
We'll see you later.
See you.
Bye.
Right then, and moving on to our final interview, Mr. Nebo, if he's there. Not sure if I. Hey.
Yeah.
I know. It was all looking pretty promising, and then had that little moment, but we won't. I wouldn't really put the blame on you. I would actually put it on the commentator's curse, because we was having a bet in chat who's gonna get a podium, and then me and Sonny said you, and then yeah, literally.
Thank you.
So, but apart from that, like, you was looking really well on those medium tyres in qualifying, and in the race you had some really good pace, and the fact that you came out behind that train, we thought you was going to get through it, but did you spin on the curb, or was there any contact in the end? Because we literally only caught the glimpse of it on the camera.
No, I think it was just dirty air. I lost it on traction mid-corner. So yeah, I don't know really. I was doing the same as the lap before, which was also on hards. So I think it's just that I was caught out by the effect of the whole train. I don't know. It was really weird. But then I knew it was like race over unless I get a safety car. So yeah, that's it looked good until it didn't.
Yeah. It did look good, but like the real question is, what has Daddy Stroll said to you after the end of that race, and is he more mad at the repairable of the car or the podium?
Well, I think he won't be too happy, because I felt the same. Like, I had a really good lap on mediums in qualifying, and I was actually moving up pretty well and could keep up with X Crystals. Well, not completely at the end of my stint, but still reasonably close. And then yeah, I was already a bit surprised that I came out behind the whole train, and I think X Crystals came out just before. So that was already a bad sign, but I still had faith that with my pace I could pass them. But then yeah, I spun on it. I don't think Daddy Stroll is really happy with that either. I haven't heard him yet, but I don't think he'll be too pleased. Yeah. Especially because my teammate was at the head of the train. Not his fault, but it kinda had an effect on me.
Yeah, I mean, that train was pretty big and pretty wild, so the dirt, I was just saying about the dirty air getting in the way, and yeah, like, yeah, the Racing Point and Daddy Stroll not having the best of days, but definitely the signs were there for that next time out. Is it Belgium next time out? I think I'm just gonna check quickly. It is Belgium next time out, so it will be a great one to watch. But I think there we'll round off the interviews, and thank you for everyone joining in for today's race, and me and Gerla doing our first commentary together. It was very good to be doing it with him and watching the race, and yeah, we'll be here tomorrow for tier 2, but not in the commentary booth, on track racing around here. So hopefully
I think Never is the one who will be commentating. Aren't you?
I am.
Oh god, it's the role reversal. So in that case, we'll be back for tomorrow.
I'll curse you.
Oh, I don't know what car I'm driving yet tomorrow. Please don't do anything. I've got a qualifying ban. I'm at the back of the grid, so it'll be P20. But till then, we'll see you tomorrow. And from everyone here at SLR, thank you very much. And the EGL, good night, and we will see you tomorrow.